If you've been looking for a solid and secure way to store and transport your track saw guide rails, then stick around and check out my shop-made solution. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of DP Shop Talk. And today we're going to be taking a look at a case for track saw guide rails. Now when I first got my track saw a few years ago, I quickly realized that I needed some sort of case for the guide rails when I started taking the saw on site. Now, track saw guide rails are something that give you a very precise cut, so it's not something that you just want to throw in the back of your truck and hope for the best. You don't want to get them dinged up or bent or any of the splinter guards peeling off. So I came up with a simple but effective design that was quick and easy to make and used up some scraps around the shop. So I'll quickly show you how I made it and then I'll show you how it works. So the construction of the case is super simple. It's basically just two pieces of 1/2-inch plywood and a few strips of hardwood. So I started by nailing and gluing the strips of hardwood onto the base piece of plywood, and that forms the sides of the case. Then I took two carriage bolts and set them into the bottom of the case, and those line up with the holes in the guide rails, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. Now the lid of the case is just a piece of 1/2-inch plywood as well, and it has holes in it that line up with those bolts as well. And then I added a handle to the side of it, just a piece of nylon webbing, and 4 screws and washers, and that makes that good and secure. Now I just kind of rounded all the corners off so there's no sharp edges left, and so now I'll show you how the guide rails go in and how that works. So the reason I went with the bolt design is it keeps the edges of the guide rails from contacting the inside of the case, so it keeps them protected. So the guide rails, they just line up with those bolts and drop into place. Now I also keep my joining kit as well mounted in one of the rails, and my Allen key fits in the case as well. So whether I'm doing ripping or cross-cutting, I have everything that I need. So the second rail goes in face down so that the guide rib is on the opposite side from the guide rib on the other rail, so that they nest together perfectly and sit nice and flat. So the case is designed to be just the right thickness so that when the lid goes on, it firmly holds everything in place and nothing's going to move around. So it really gives some good protection since, like I mentioned, there's no way for the edges or the ends of the guide rails to hit the inside of the case. So if you happen to drop the case or bump it, you're not going to have any damage to the rails. So the handle on the top of the case really makes it easy to pick it up and carry it one-handed, which is nice if you happen to be carrying your saw. On the other hand, you can pick up and go with everything you need for your track saw. Now, I've really enjoyed the peace of mind that the case gives, knowing that my rails aren't going to be damaged when I'm transporting them. It really gives some solid protection. And like I mentioned earlier, with that design where they register on the bolts, you don't have to worry about the edges of your rails knocking around on the inside of the case either. Everything stays exactly where it should. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, make sure you leave your ideas, questions, and what's worked for you in the comments below. Let's get that shop talk going. I would also encourage you to follow DP Shop Talk on social media, whether that be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm on all three. I try and keep the latest news and updates and sneak peeks for upcoming videos on there, and all different content relating to the channel. Now, if you're not a huge fan of social media, I completely understand. To be honest, neither am I. The only reason I'm on there is to try and keep you guys up to date with what's going on with the DP Shop Talk channel. So if you're so inclined, make sure you check that out and follow along to stay up to date with the latest news. So thanks for watching, and until next time, let's talk shop.